Have you ever told yourself to do something but had a really hard time doing it? Maybe this thing is even something really important to you and it's something that you were sure that you were going to accomplish. Maybe it's something health related, like saying, I'm not going to eat fast food today, or I'm not going to have a cigarette today. Or maybe it's something like, I'm going to go for a run today, I'm going to exercise today. Or maybe it's just some other goal that you have been trying to accomplish for a while that you've been putting off. Like a certain project you wanted to work on, or even maybe a simple chore like do your laundry or clean your room. This is always something I had trouble with, cleaning my room. I'd let my room get so bad that it was just too painful for me to even think of cleaning it. I didn't even know where to start. It was ugh. Nowadays, now that I'm almost 25 and a little bit more mature, I have a little bit more self-discipline and usually clean my room every couple days or so it doesn't get too bad. But nonetheless, I remember times where I was coming home from class or coming home from work and I promised myself with 100% certainty that I was going to clean my room. But nonetheless, I still didn't clean my room, even after all of that preparation, all of that mental pump up. I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to do it this time. There was something that always held me back from doing it. So what do you do in a situation like this? Say you're eating bad food every day and you tell yourself every day that I'm going to eat good this day. I'm going to eat good this day. But it just doesn't happen. How do you get out of this rut? One thing you have to realize is that we are primarily controlled by our subconscious mind. So thinking rationally or consciously a lot of the times just doesn't work. Maybe you're thinking, well, I have to build a lot of willpower. Well, willpower is great to start yourself getting into a groove or get you to places, but willpower doesn't last forever. In fact, willpower takes a lot of energy and you're not going to succeed with willpower alone. Willpower takes a lot of energy, so it's good on those days where you have a lot of energy. But what happens on one of those days where you're just feeling kind of depressed? Or what about one of those days where you just didn't get enough sleep and you don't have that much energy? You can't rely on willpower on days like these. And these days, as you'll find out when you're actually trying to accomplish something, happens more often than not. Now, as I said before, our brain is wired to go towards pleasure and go away from pain. This is a survival mechanism built in our brain, so basically if you touch a hot stove, your brain will say, hey, that's painful, don't do that again. Even when you're a small child and you don't really completely logically understand that heat causes pain and the first time you touch that stove you get burned. That's so you don't do it again. It's not a concept of logic or reason. This is something built there for you to survive. And in fact, a lot of the times the desire to avoid pain and go towards pleasure is so powerful that it will actually start to manipulate the logical part of your brain where you actually could hear your thoughts. Like say you wanted to start exercising one day because, well, face it, you've been sitting on the couch every single day for the last 2 months and you're starting to feel a little bit flabby and you feel like you need to get out and start moving a bit, and you tell yourself one day, I am going to go and I am going to run no matter what at the end of this day. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it after work. I'm going to go for a run. And then what happens after work? Your mind starts to come up with all of these excuses. And these thoughts overpower your earlier thoughts of reason where you said, I'm going to do this no matter what. Your brain starts to rationalize and start to think of ways out of it. Like say, my knee's kind of hurting today, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to rest up and then I'll do it tomorrow. Or, I'm just going to do it tomorrow, what's one day going to do? Or, I don't feel like I got a full night's rest last night, I don't know. Or, I don't know, I find exercising boring, I'm going to see what my friend's up to and see if he wants to exercise with me, and if he doesn't, then I'll just go hang out with him. So what do you do in a situation like this? Willpower alone's not going to help you. What you need to do is get leverage on yourself. You had to find a way to convince your own mind that doing what you wanted to do is going to be more pleasurable and not doing it is going to be more painful. As I said, the subconscious, this desire to avoid pain and go towards pleasure is very powerful, and no voice of logic and reason is going to, in the long run, decide things for you. What really is going to decide things for you is what your mind thinks is going to help you survive. One thing that I noticed is fast food or things with a lot of sugar and salt, when I eat them, they're immediately pleasurable. They taste delicious, they're high in calories, sugar and salt, and chemicals are immediately released in my brain. The same thing happened when I used to smoke. As soon as I took a puff, I could feel the rush in my brain immediately. So you could understand how fast food or having a cigarette is linked as pleasurable in your brain. Because as soon as you have a smoke or you eat that fast food, chemicals will be released in your brain and immediately associate to pleasure, even if logically you understand that these things are bad for you. The problem with this is an hour later you might find yourself a bit lethargic and not really full of energy and kind of tired and feeling kind of groggy and crappy. But your brain doesn't really associate this pain with the food that you ate earlier. Especially if you eat junk food every day, your brain's just gonna think that this is just a normal feeling that happens every day and it's just a natural thing that happens with your body. Now on the reverse of this, say for lunch you had a big old salad with a bunch of fruit and vegetables and you had a bunch of raw nuts, which is a very healthy meal. Now immediately, especially if you're not used to eating healthy foods, you won't get such as high as a chemical rush as soon as you eat it, and it might seem a little bit drab and boring. So immediately you're not going to get as strong as a linked pleasure as soon as you're eating the vegetables. But what you'll find for the hours to follow is you'll have a lot more energy, feel better, feel less lethargic. But again, your brain's not immediately associating this pattern. One thing that I personally do to help correct this is to pay close attention to my body and my feelings and my state of mind after I eat certain foods. So for example, after I eat a healthy meal, I really pay attention to how I feel after I eat that healthy meal. If I notice I feel better, if I have more energy, I really pay attention to that, which really helps link that pleasure to my brain and associates that good food with that pleasurable feeling. And for those days that I break down and get myself a big old fast food burger, I pay attention to my feeling after I eat the burger and notice that I feel lethargic, low energy, my stomach kind of feels crappy, and I look into the mirror and I even look bloated and kind of look crappy. And those feelings are quite painful, and if I pay attention to them, I'll eventually link that bad food to those bad feelings, creating that connection in my brain. Okay, now you understand the dynamics of this concept, let's go through a little exercise. Seriously, I urge you to do this. You will get a lot out of this. Now think of a behavior that you want to adopt or that you want to change. Maybe it's quitting smoking, maybe it's exercising more, and maybe it's eating better and losing weight off of your body. Now close your eyes. I'm serious about this. Just do it. Just close your eyes right now. I'm even going to make this video black so you don't get distracted. Now imagine your life 5 years from now if you started that behavior today and continued to do that behavior for the next 5 years. Now maybe it's smoking, or maybe it's adopting a healthy lifestyle like eating well and exercising. If it's eating well and exercising, imagine your body once it's fit and strong. Imagine looking in the mirror and seeing all of your muscles defined, you look strong. Imagine walking on the beach and having people notice you. Imagine the energy, vitality, and fulfillment you will have. If you have children or want to have children one day, imagine being able to play with your children with full energy, with a smile on your face. Imagine being able to do what you want, play sports with your friends, or do whatever you want to do. That sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? But let's switch it the other way around. Let's say you continued the bad behavior for another 5 years. As you get older, it gets harder and harder to maintain your metabolism. So if you continue these behaviors for the next 5 years, imagine yourself what your body might look like. Imagine the rolls you might have above your belt. Imagine the flab under your arms. Imagine that double chin. What would your face look like? Imagine the energy you would have. Would you feel excited? Or would you have a lot lower energy? Imagine if you had kids, playing with your kids and not being able to catch up. Now let's fast forward 10 years from now. How would things be then if you continued on these behaviors? getting even a little bit more flabby there, a little bit more flab under the arms. Check out that fat under the neck. Oh, you look pretty bloated there now. Sitting on the couch all day again. That's fun. Haven't done that before. Doing the same thing. That must be exciting. Now let's go 20 years from now. And let me remind you that 20 years from now isn't some fake fairyland that I'm making up. 20 years from now is going to be a real time, and this is really going to affect your life. Now imagine 20 years from now. What's the flab looking like on the stomach? What's the flab looking like on the arms? Oh, you're watching TV again? Reruns of the same show? Exciting. Awesome. Where's your life going to be in 20 years? Where's your life going to be in 30 years? What behaviors do you need to adopt so this doesn't happen? I hope you got something out of that. One thing I have to mention is a lot of the times we try to get out of these bad behaviors, and then when we don't, we beat ourselves up. Well, the trick to this is we have to kind of beat ourselves up beforehand, before we do this bad behavior, instead of afterwards. If you do it afterwards, then you'll just feel guilty and feel like crap, and it's a little too late at that point. Now, if you're a little bit overweight, like I am, I'm not super overweight, but I have a nice big flabby belly on me, take a hold of your belly right now. Kind of notice how much you got there. Imagine how far away from that ideal body you were imagining earlier. Kind of feel your love handles a bit or whatever. Ugh. One thing I started doing just this week is every time I have a craving, like I get cravings for Burger King all the time and ice cream and Subway, I get cravings still all of the time. Don't get me wrong, I still have cravings all of the time. So even though I've been eating really healthy a lot lately, I've been eating pretty much vegetables and fruit and select amounts of good protein every day, I still have cravings all of the time. So one thing I do whenever I get a craving is I take my hands and I grab my belly and I assess how much fat I still have to get rid of before I reach my, I guess, ideal weight. I don't know. I'm a person that wants to have a good body, not because I feel insecure about my body or anything, but I want to have a lot of energy. I want to have a fulfilling life. I want to be stronger. Working out and feeling stronger feels great. It actually affects your mind and the way you think, and you feel a lot happier when your body is in shape and has a lot of strength. And the plain fact is, I haven't been in really good shape in my entire life. When I was a kid, I ate a crap load of food. I ate a bunch of junk food. So when I was young, I was a chubby kid. I grew up and my weight fluctuated. There's been periods where I've been a lot skinnier, but I've never been really fit. There's never been a period of my life where I ate really good and exercised efficiently and kept on a routine for very long, or at least long enough to be in really good shape. And to be honest, I want to experience that, especially since I know I can do it. If I'm able to do that, there shouldn't be any part in my mind that wants to absolutely quit and just stop doing this. So every time I have a craving, I grab my big gut and my love handles and I say, this is how much I have left. This is how much I have left on my body to get through. If I eat that fast food burger, it's just gonna take longer for me to get rid of this stuff. And if I eat a salad right now, then it will be a lot quicker. I'll be able to reach my goal a lot quicker. And as soon as I do that, I realize that that craving just goes away. It's like it melts away. It's crazy. It's just something I've been doing recently, actually. Every time I have a craving, I do that, and I'm like, ugh, I still have a little ways to go. I still have a little bit of pudge there. And then immediately I just lose the craving, and I don't even feel like having a burger anymore. One other thing though, as I said, I still get cravings all of the time, is once I do eat the good food, if I have a really bad craving for meat or like a burger and fries and stuff, I start going crazy. I'm like, I want a burger and fries so bad. I go and make myself a salad with fish and some blueberries or whatever. I mix that all together and I eat it. as soon as I'm full again and I have all of those nutrients and all of that food in my body, craving goes away. It's not craving that food in particular, but I know really in my mind somewhere it's really just craving calories and protein and sugar, so the craving will go away after I eat this food, even if that's not what the original craving was, if that makes sense. Alright, hope you got something out of this. Peace.
Mike Marino videos. Bow!